my first ever YouTube video. So welcome to my channel. For my first video, my inspiration behind it was that a few years ago I was in the market to buy a new car, new to me anyway, a classic car, and I was looking at a lot of YouTube videos. I basically was watching videos to see different features that came with different models of cars so I could really make sure that when I chose my car that I got the one I wanted. So the idea of this video is that I'm gonna do a tour of my 1966 Ford Thunderbird Town Hardtop. So we're gonna go over the interior, the exterior, some stuff in the engine, I guess, and just kind of like a full detail. The back seat is just ridiculous, the way it wraps around like that. I don't know if this is accurate, so don't quote me on this, but I believe that this design is called, I know up top it's called like a pleated seat, and then on the bottom, I'm pretty sure I heard someone once call that biscuits. I wanted that so badly. That was one of my criteria for sure when getting the car, is I wanted the pleated top and the biscuit bottom. Some Thunderbirds come just with the pleated top all the way down, so it wouldn't be a pleated top, it would just be a pleated seat. When I bought this car, I was taking it to get vacuumed down all the time, and under the seat here on the floor mat, I was constantly vacuuming up yellow foam, and not thinking at the time that the cushion was giving out. I went to my dad one day and I'm like, Dad, whoever had this car before me eats so much pound cake and they have dropped so many crumbs in this car that I'm constantly vacuuming out pound cake from under that seat. And he's like, Savannah, that seat foam from every time you sit in the seat, it's worn out and it comes through the bottom. So we have all our gauges here: oil, fuel, temperature, and amps. The speedometer I think is really cool. I love how it just goes straight across here. It's not like a typical dial. Up here we have our windshield wipers and our washers, our little clock. We've got our map light here that goes on so you can read your map when you're going down the road. We have left and right air vents that open up down there in the floorboard. Here's my AM radio here. I do have an 8-track player. Here's the air conditioning unit. This car does have heat and air. We've got recycled air, fresh air, off, and then heat and defrost. And then, of course, this is minimum and maximum, so how hot or cold you want it. And then the 3 fan settings. We've got a rear vent there. Here are the door locks. Everything in the Thunderbird, in the particular one I got, is electric. You never have to roll up or down the window. You just hit the button. The window rolls up. Hit your button. Your window rolls down. The seats are fully electric, so that I don't want to move them too much because they're not particularly easy to get back in the spot, you know, that sweet spot that I have found. But this adjusts up and down for the front of the seat. This toggle adjusts up and down for the back of the seat, and then this toggle takes you forward and backwards. So I'm completely maxed out forward, and you can go backwards. But here's the lights. You can flick these on once to have interior lights, and flick them on one more time. So you can see out there, they're obviously going in very different directions. I need to fix that, but brights are in the floor, of course. We have this control panel up here on the roof of the car. So this seatbelt light will come on if your seatbelt's not fastened. Here's your flashers. There's your door ajar, if your door was open, letting you know that you haven't shut it, and your low fuel buttons. This piece here is how the Thunderbird would have came from the factory, with this carpet bottom and then a place for your speakers. The person who owned this car before I did had actually taken, when they had this door panel built for them, they had this just as vinyl, there was no carpet, and then they had cut these massive holes in this area right here, 2 places for speakers. And they had these huge aftermarket, really modern speakers, and they looked really bad, and I got a lot of hate for it, even though I didn't do it, but haters gonna hate regardless. So I spent a lot of time and money trying to figure out a way to recover that with vinyl, not realizing that it actually should have been carpet the whole time, and that this piece is very much still in production. You can get it off eBay. I got it actually from a carpet company that makes automotive carpet, and I can throw in their website if you're interested in that. But I think it was like $50. It came very quickly. It was super easy to install, and it covered up that horrible mess that was here with those speakers that they had. So I do have a 390. I wanted the 428, of course. Who doesn't? But at the time that I bought this car, I loved it too much to pass it up just because it had a 390 in it. When, you know, at any point in time, if I really felt like it, I could swap the engine. I've always been really inspired by my own husband. He builds really clean cars with like extremely clean engine bays and just simplifies them down to just what he needs. So I'm gonna do that this winter with my own engine bay, clean everything up, make it look better. You know, it's not terrible or anything. It gets the job done. She works, but she, you know, it could definitely look better. So in regards to the body, there were a few things that helped me make my decision in regards to which Thunderbird I wanted. I was looking at 4th generations, so 64 through 66, and when narrowing down my decision, one of the things that I really like about the 66 is I think it's one of the cleanest out of the 3 years, as far as just the body's really simple, especially on the town hardtop. So on the 64, you would have the words Thunderbird written here across the hood, which is just something that I personally didn't want. So that didn't go on through 65 and 66. I do want to mention while we're up front really quick though, that the headlight bezels do not come the color of the car. That was actually a suggestion that my husband made when I was painting the car after the accident. So I'm really glad that he suggested that, because I think it's just one more thing that really cleans up the front end and has everything just looking pretty simple and sleek and classy. So another thing I like about the 66 in comparison to some of the other Thunderbirds in the 4th generation is that the 65 actually came with a trim piece here on the fender. I'll insert a picture so you can see what it looks like. So if that's something that you want or don't want, you know what it looks like. Speaking of trim pieces, a lot of the Thunderbirds did not come with this factory trim that I have. I actually see a lot more birds that don't have it versus birds that do have it. My biggest reason on the body that I wanted the town hardtop is actually the bird here on the roof. The Landau versions on the hardtop come with a design here, and I personally just didn't want that. I just like the bird that is placed there on the town hardtop version. One of my favorite things about it is the sequential turn signals. It was actually supposed to be released on the 64, but it was illegal at the time, so it was not introduced until 65. So 65 was the first year to have it. And then of course they carried it on to the 66. All right, so now we're just gonna make our way to the passenger side just so that we get a full loop of the car. One of the things that I love about this particular bird in particular is that if you're noticing a bit of a blue tint on my windows, that is actually a factory option. So I love that. I just hope that I never have an issue and have to replace these windows, because I would imagine that getting them tinted to that correct color of blue or finding a replacement might be a little difficult, but hopefully that will just never happen, because I really love that blue. I think it just plays off so nicely with the color of the bird here, how they have blue in the emblem, and then the factory tint on the window. I just think that's a really nice touch. Okay, so that concludes the tour. I hope that I gave you guys some good information if you're in the market for a Thunderbird and you're looking at different models, and I really hope that I did the car justice, because I am very blessed and grateful to have this car and honored to have it. I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. You can just really, like, hey, I'm here. Please don't run over my 53-year-old car.